Welcome back to No Bias Hoops. Today we're talking about the New York Knicks as they have just signed Mikal Bridges to a 4-year, $150 million contract extension with a player option on the final year. This allows the team to make more free agency signings next offseason as Bridges took $6 million less than he could have, and he also could have waited till next offseason to sign this extension, which would have potentially given him more money. It shows he's committed to building the Knicks long term. This is similar to what Jalen Brunson did last offseason, and the Knicks have built a really good team. The East is not great right now. The Pacers are not going to have Tyrese Halliburton. Celtics won't have Jason Tatum, and they traded Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. So there's just this big opportunity for the Knicks this season, and they've capitalized on that. They signed Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele. Both players could be very good backups for them this season. Jordan Clarkson averaged about 16 points per game with the Jazz, and he won't play as much as he did with the Jazz, but he's going to be an elite sharpshooter off the bench for them. Gershon Yabusele was a steal from Philly. He played well. The Sixers didn't have enough to re-sign him because they didn't have bird rights. So the Knicks swooped in, stole him on a 2-year deal. Then the craziest thing about this roster is that the Knicks did not draft their big five. They didn't draft a single player on their big five. Jalen Brunson they signed, and Jalen Brunson has faith in this Knicks team. He signed there when the team was not great. He signed there because his dad was an assistant coach and because it's New York. But over time, this team has gotten really good. They've had Josh Hart for a while after trading for him. They traded for OG Anunoby by trading Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, who were the only good players the Knicks had drafted in a while, but it paid off. OG Anunoby has been amazing, and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley got very big contracts, so that was a good trade. Then they also have Karl Anthony Towns. That's a really underrated trade. And yes, it was sad that they had to give up Dante DiVincenzo, which would have been awesome to see the full Villanova Knicks. We never got to see that. But that's a really good trade. At the time, it did look like a good trade. 1 first-round pick, Julius Randle, who had been terrible in the playoffs for so many years, and then Dante DiVincenzo. It was a really good trade at the time, but now it just looks even better. Cat had a really good year last year. And then now they bring in Coach Mark Brown, and honestly, I didn't like them firing Thibodeau, and I understand that he plays the players too much in the playoffs, but I think when you fire a coach, there wasn't a clear coach that they had, because every team isn't going to no team is going to let you talk to their head coach to try to steal it. So all current head coaches were pretty much off the table, and they only had a few options, really. Luckily, Mike Brown was there because the Kings made a similar decision, and it didn't pay off for the Kings, but for the Knicks, getting Mike Brown is huge. Won Coach of the Year with Sacramento, and I think they're going to have a very, very big chance to win the NBA Finals. They're easily the favorites to win the East. Everyone knows that. The Pacers don't have Halliburton. The Celtics don't have Tatum. And there's no world I really see where the Knicks don't win the Eastern Conference. Aside from injuries, they have a very, very good roster. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, with very good pieces. Miles McBride, Jordan Clarkson, Gershon Yabusele, and then I'm obviously forgetting someone. They have Mitchell Robinson. They have a few other good role players, and I just don't really see a world where the New York Knicks don't go to the NBA Finals, and they're going to give whoever they play a headache. It's probably going to be OKC because OKC is only going to get better. They're extremely young. So I would bet that it's the Knicks versus the OKC Thunder, but honestly, I might pick the Knicks. They're going to be more experienced. They have just as deep team and maybe even better shooting than OKC, and that sounds crazy because OKC's shooting is elite. But all I know is that the Knicks have made some of the most under-the-radar, insane moves in the last few years to just build a contender out of nowhere. They didn't have a superstar they drafted. They stole Jalen Brunson from the Mavericks, and at the time he looked solid. He was like a high-end role player, and that's kind of what Mikal Bridges is. But he became a superstar with the Knicks. They gave him that opportunity, and the Mavericks are still kicking themselves for letting him go. But let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on No Bias Hoops.